Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I am Lily and in this video I'm doing a playthrough for the very new players where I will be explaining roughly the 10 to 20 last patches and also some of the basics. I haven't made a playthrough for a very long time, so we have a lot to cover. We are going to teach them how to do a Mesolithic transition into the Neolithic. Let's go! Okay, first things first, we are going to start in 7 KBC, which is the default Mesolithic, because we also want some Mesolithic culture to bring with us into the Neolithic timeline. And we're going to Autumn simply because Autumn has the most food, and we're going to do beginners. This is for the very new players. And we're also going to do normal game speed, which is 2 sleeps per month. Right, we're going to have tutorial off simply because I am going to be your tutorial. Yes, I am the walking, talking tutorial. Right, so now here's the big issue is finding a place where I want to be. I always want to be in my mountains. I just can't get my head around doing flat. It's just not me. I also want snow, but I also want to be in region 2 because that is the most lenient region which all new players should ideally start. This is simply because you have the most of absolutely everything in the region 2 because it's the most temperate. At the moment the game only has a few Arctic flowers that are foods, and it also only has some of the ones that can tolerate the heat more. Right, first things first, up the age that you want people to work. That is always something you should get done so that everyone does their share. Nobody in the history of mankind has been sitting on their bums until they were so age. They started work more or less from when they were out until they basically keel over old age dead. Right, so let's see how many we have that needs to work on their skills. So far we have only one with architecture, which means we need to create a group to make more architecture spread into tribe. Oh, that's a good one. I think this one is going to maybe be our tribe leader, depending on how much she grows her charisma. Yeah, look at all that goody stuff. So when you are starting a tribe, you can restart as many as you like to get the attributes or the leader that you like. Nobody says you have to play the same tribe you started with. You can restart it a gazillion times, all up to you as a player. But do keep an eye on your leader because leaders will limit your freedom with your policies. We're going to go over these later as we play and explain why that is bad and why this is better, etc, because everything is event and tribe based and no two tribes will ever be the same. Right, let's go find a place. I would like to be as closed in by mountains as possible. So after they changed all the rivers and stuff, I find that you have so few options where there is a lot of mountains very close to the river. So we need to find areas that has some open spaces and with the mountains a bit further away. So if this is what we have to do, then let's do so. Also, we need a name. Let's just find something silly. 2 more sleeps. Yeah. Let's do 2 more sleeps. I've had really weird names on my tribe. I don't think I've ever done a normal name on my tribes. I think I tend to have silly names, butt names as well. Squirrel Bumps is one of my favorites. Okay, let's go. Let's see how this place looks. How bad can it be? I mean, it is beginners. You will drown in food no matter. And on top, we're going to show at the same time how players can stay in the same locality until they are ready to transition from the Mesolithic and into the Neolithic. Because what we want to do is we want to do scavenge runs. I want to show new players how they can start their Neolithic adventure with tons of tools, food, and raw materials that they will need to succeed further in the game. Right, so this is a great place. A lot of flat. We don't need to develop access yet to chop down trees to make space for whatever you want to place. So let's just do the flat and get it done. Bit by bit, we're going to build here and we're going to stay here until we're ready to do scavenge runs. And we're going to talk more about scavenge runs as we are doing them. So being a new player also means you know nothing about the game. Let's start there. So yeah, good place to start. I really like this area. It's nice and flat. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to change a few things compared to how we used to do things before. I just need to remember that this is not patron version, and this is not alpha version, and this is not developer version. I play all of them, so I might say things I shouldn't. And the rule for my videos then is that whatever is said in the videos also stay in the videos. But I am on the 6.5 version, which is the public version, which most people are actually playing, which is also called previously the beta version. And what we don't have here is, of course, the animal rage, but we have got the big peltards. They have been in testing for a bit. You can see you will get them as soon as you get closer to the Neolithic timeline and get more architecture and also a bit more leatherworking. These are extremely nice. I love these big huts. It was needed, and it still is needed to have more of these various types of buildings. But we're also going to get more as we develop other cultures, because we are going to sneak more and more east and closer to the Fertile Crescent, and also have all the DLCs with Ice Age and Paleolithic and Death and Decay, you know, predators coming to whoop our asses. And oh my god, I love testing all this. So the animal rage is still in testing, and some has been released to Patreon. Gold and silver tier, you have the option to be whooped by wild animals. So if you want to test that out, go get yourself a patron. Then you will have access. Right, for new players, how to start. Wherever you land, you have to start with two things in mind: food and housing. In beginners, you don't have to worry about graves yet, because you shouldn't have people dying tomorrow. You don't have to worry about religion, otherwise with offerings, because beginners will allow you to do a lot of mistakes and to basically mistreat your tribe fairly much before they start to complain. So, step one, let's get people a place to sleep. Each big fireplace can take roughly 10 people, and we are starting with 10 people. So here we go. Where should we put it? Just put it around here, yeah? Just middle is fine. And the priority is important, because priority not only decides how quickly it will get repaired, it also decides how many are going to work on it. As you can see, we now have max priority, which means that 2 people are allowed to work. However, if I put it down to medium or to default, only 1 will be allowed to work. That means the rest will do other chores. At the moment, we are in work and resting time, and Bowl is resting while Hammer is work hours. These are something you decide and nobody else. However, if you have too high work hours, your people will start protesting because they get exhausted. Exhaustion will create unrest. Yeah? So, now we have placed down the fireplace, and instead of wasting the work hours, because now we are in work hours, we are going to activate everyone, and we're going to use the clear tool. The clear tool is help to us players to assign tasks to the entire tribe. And this is not a bad thing to do as a start. You don't have to do it. You should ideally use your groups. I will show you how. But as a start, there is nothing wrong in a little bit of cheating. So what we're going to do is we're going to get raw stones. These are raw stones. And these are used not only for the fireplace you're going to use, but also to get up your smaller peltards, because they will need stone to not fly away. And then we're going to get a few sticks, and then we simply take the lasso through a bit of wood. Take out that we're going to chop them, because we can't chop them. We don't have any access, so we don't want to chop them. And also take out the cropping, because we do not want to crop. We don't want to get any weird stuff into camp. We only want sticks and stones. And that is what we're getting now. Actually, we're also going to get these honeycombs, and we're going to do this so we don't kill it. But we're going to leave the gathering so that we get the honey. For those of you that are not new beginners, you just have to accept that I will spoon feed quite a bit, because we do have a lot of new players, and the game, although I think it's easy and you guys think it's easy, new players are struggling a bit to get all the mechanics in one go. So here goes. Right, so now we are activating the entire tribe. So now everyone should get up from their butts and go do the chores that I have given them. As you can see, they are already going and doing what I told them to do. These are some of the wild animals, the aurochs. Oh my goodness, if you go Patreon, you will be ravaged by them. They will try to trample your camp because, first of all, they want to go from A to B, and if your camp is in the way, you could have issues. Secondly, when there's little food, they will try to come steal yours. So get up your defenses. If you're a Patreon player, defenses right away. Mesolithic, you will only have a part of the best fencing, so you will have your ass handed to you on a regular basis. But Mesolithic is supposed to be migratory, so slaughter all the animals, hunt everything, make pelts, move on. Till you come to Neolithic, then you will get access to the very best, which is the palisades. They have decreased the architecture woodworking needs you have to have for the palisades to be built, but it's still not enough to reach through all of the Mesolithic, because you are locked to the knowledge that is allocated to you based on where you are and what time it is in history. This is something we will go over as we are playing. So right now we are having people build a fireplace, and they're also gathering the material to do so. What we're going to do now is get a crafting group which will make fine sticks. We are going to have them make at least 40 so that they are being kept busy. You can either use the arrow or the plus sign and minus to adjust your number, or just type in the number you want them to do. And I would like priority to be fairly high because I want a person to do this to immediately enter. And then we are going to chuck out one fisherman. He's also get high priority because he's going to go get us fresh fish. Then we of course need to open the resource windows, and here is where you will see everything that you have in camp. Yeah, this is your group window. At the moment we only have 2 groups. You can place them around wherever you see fit on your screen. I have a huge screen and very high resolution, so yeah, or whatever it's called. Is it low resolution when you see a lot? I have no clue. What do I have? I think I have system. Let's have a look. This is something you need to do as well, and don't mess around too much. I have a resolution full, high, screen scale is system, and that is the max. Yeah. But remember, if you're going to mess around with these things, you should go by what the system says and not necessarily everything else, because it could give you issues. So if you have issues, delete your documents folder and try again, because that sometimes go really titty up with some players. I've seen it too many times to not warn about it. Right, so then we need a group, a gathering group. A gathering group will get you all your resources that you will ever use and need for your tribe. If you don't have gathering groups, you can only get so and so much of resources and not all of them. What we're going to do here is we're going to allow these to get logs. We're going to get 4 logs to start with, or 3 or 4, and then I'm going to have them keep up with the sticks, even though now we are gathering plenty sticks because we are forcing people to do communal chores, which is stick gathering and stone gathering. And you can see they already have plenty enough to make both the fireplace and also for us to start chucking down some peltas. And each peltas will need 15 fine sticks and also 5 leather. And since we already have the raw stones we need, we can place down the leather hut. So there's a new thing here that we haven't talked about before to anyone, at least I haven't, and that is that you need to have a trodden path in order to place down your housing and other objects with entrance. So you can't just chuck it down wherever you want it. You need to be roughly around where people have started walking. So the most common thing to do in the Mesolithic for sure is to either place down dirt paths. This is a trail you can put wherever you want. We can do that if you like. We can have a nice little square around the fireplace, no big deal. We can do that, and then like that. Then we can place entrances on all these. So if we have one on each side like this, that should be perfect. We can make 2 because we have 10 people, you will get 1 pelt hut per 5 members, plus a few extra leather. So there. Now we have 2. And again, use priority to have more people working on it rather than just 1. Yeah. And also the repairs will be done quicker for those who have max of the priority. So now they have taken the honeybee, and people, they love the honey that the bees are making. It also has a very decent calorie unit, and people will get -20 on rest when they eat it. So this is a good idea. Get honey if you can. Sugary and sweets is something that all tribe members want. We're going to talk about food preferences as we get to things. But right now we need to get up housing and we need to get up comfort. So what are you guys lacking? You guys are lacking logs. So that's the only thing that they lack. And these icons are report icons, and they will show you what you are lacking. We have covered the lack by sending out a person getting logs. So she will come home with logs, and then you can see she's working here. She already have half a log by chopping this this branch. So now we'll see if she can manage to complete the fireplace. In beginners, it's not important to have everything up in one go. You know, you can easily have many days going, many sleeps going before you need to have things up. As long as we're not on Patreon and we only have a few of the new things and no real animal rage yet, we should not have an issue in needing to put up fences really quickly. What we need to get up is comfort and make sure that food is incoming, and we have covered both. So these are the things that all new players need to remember. Get food coming in. It doesn't have to be much. You only need roughly between 1,000 and 500 calories per member. If it's a child, it eats half. If it's an elderly, it also eats half. So now we have 10 people, and 1/3 of these are eating half. So it's roughly going to be 7,000 plus 1,500. That is 8.5 units per day. And we already have almost 100 units. So you do not need to worry about that at all. So just keep that as a rule of thumb, that if you have roughly 1,000 or 1 unit per member, you will have food for that entire day. That is just, if you just keep that as a rule of thumb. For 10 members, if you have 10 units of food, you should be fine. So don't forget that they eat also in the morning. They eat morning, they eat breakfast, and they eat the evening meal. And their entire calorie need, which is on an adult, it is around 2,000, if memory serves me. Yeah, 2,060. She needs 2,060 calories per day. An adult man will need roughly 2,200. They will divide that calorie need on the 2 meals they have per day. Yeah, and since most food is fairly high in calories, for instance, the raw meat is 1,700, it means that you also need to think about the calories. So if you have, for instance, pine nuts, which is like, is it 300 calories, 350 calories, something extremely little, then you need to have more units of that to feed a person. Because if you have 200 calories in one unit, that means that that person will need 8 to complete their meal to get enough calories. So high calorie foods is always a good idea to focus on. High calorie foods are all the dried meats. It is cheese and bread, hazelnuts, and also the rose hips. Rose hips are 1,600, and I think hazelnuts are like 2,000, and peas are fairly high. But you know, we will get to that as we play along. Right, so now we have this one, and we have enough stones and sticks for everything. So if there is more left to do here, there is not. I would have ticked it out if it had been. Right, so now they're going to sleep out in the open, because now work hours are over. Bold means that they are now going to rest. So they're going to eat loved food, which is the honey. Everyone is going to eat honey, I'm sure of it. I like honeycombs. That means that they will get a increase in happiness from eating honeycombs. The reason you can see them The only time you can see them is if they have an unhappy face, because unhappy face means they have unrest, and whatever you do to appease that rest will then show on that face. I'll try to see if we can get it a bit later. Beginners, I find it difficult to get angry faces, because to me beginners is fairly easy, and since I know how to play, it is easy for me. But I'm going to try to see if I can perhaps overwork some of my people to actually get them to be so annoyed they have angry faces. So you can see the trail here. As they are stepping on it, they are treading it down, and the small pebbles are coming up and stuff. So day 2, this is day 2, and everything you need is up. So now we should ideally continue with creating groups. So now we have the initial crafting groups. So this one is doing the fine sticks, and now we're also going to ask her to do the ropes. We don't need a gazillion ropes, so let's just do 10 for her to learn the weaving skill, because don't forget that people are learning as they are working. All things that demand our knowledge to be built or made also will grant the knowledge they are demanding. So this one will be working on both weaving and also woodworking. She already has woodworking, which means that she is a specialist. So specialists tend to want to join the groups that has the corresponding knowledge to that they already have themselves. Right, then we're going to do another one with some of the other tools, because we do need them. So this one is going to take care of the weapons. The first thing we're going to do is get wooden spears. We don't need a gazillion, but let's do 20. But she's also going to get one more person helping her, because we're going to do all these in this group. For this one we don't need a lot, we just need a few. And as you can see, it's already signalizing, oh, I'm lacking materials. That means we need to make another gathering group afterwards to collect fine raw stones. This one is bone knife, and it also signalizes, I need bones to make it, and we are going to make that as well. I will show you how. Right, so let's make 20 of those, because remember, when you're using them they will decay, so you need to have a rolling industry of tools. And finally, let's make some harpoons for our fishermen. This one needs wooden spears to continue the production, so that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to do a little bit of organizing in the camp. You don't have to do this. This is completely volunteer. You don't have to do it, but I want to have a little bit of order in the camp, and I want to place the crafters close to each other so that we don't have to see them walk from one place to the next and waste half the day in logistics. So what we're going to do is put crafting materials here so they can get all items in the same place and don't have to walk around everywhere. You can see people are clearing what we have done, so this is good. We're going to need sticks there, and also the fine sticks. So whatever the crafters need, just place them in the same area. Then you don't have to worry too much about them wasting time on walking back and forth to get stuff. And these guys are going to have this, and these. What am I going to put these to have? What am I lacking here? I don't think I'm lacking any. Bones there. And lock down your bones. You know why? Because people hate them. People hate sucking out the bone marrow from the bones. I don't know why, because it is an absolute delicacy. Yeah, I'm Scandinavian. We like fish. We like fish too. We like fish too. So lock down your bones. You can lock your bones. That means you can lock every option in the tribe of storage, including the non-lidded. This is a non-lidded option. It's the only non-lidded option we have. The rest have lidded options, and lidded options also have the opportunity to set limits. However, open storage do not have that, because you do it cell by cell. Here is 3 cells. That means it will be roughly 200 and something that this storage unit can take. And you can see we have storage configuration that it can be stored but cannot be extracted. If we open it, then we can be both extracted and stored, but we want it stored only. But do not worry, because those who actually need the bones will go get them and make the tools. The same goes for farmers, but we're going to get to that when we come to the Neolithic timeline and start doing all the farms. That is where the hardship starts, really, not kidding. Mesolithic is easy because you are migratory, you are semi-sedentary, you can migrate at any point. Get tons of food from start to finish, tons of material, tons of prey. It is the Neolithic timeline where you're as sedentary, where you need to be careful. And this is where most players give up when they come to the Neolithic, because they start wrong and cock up their entire tribe, and they're watching as it is going into a crevasse. Let's avoid it altogether by doing things a little bit different. I normally say, if your tribe survive, you're doing it right. There's no one way to play. You play as you want to do. As long as people survive, you're doing it right. Okay, so this is just how I do it. You do not have to do it like me. You can do it however you see fit. Right, so now we have made a start. I'm going to complete the groups. We are going to get another gathering group, and they are going to get crafting materials. So we're going to get a few bones for them. We are going to get fiber for the ropes. We're going to get fine raw stone for them. And we don't need flint cores yet. But guess what? We're going to collect it anyway, because we want to take it with us when we start doing our scavenge runs. Yeah, because we want all of this with us, don't we? And I'm not going to put limit on any of these two, because I want them to take as many as possible. That means you can also, if you want to, open this up and make them access forever if you like. You can remove all the limits and have them also work on their knowledges, because they will do that at the same time. Keep that in mind. If you have limits very low, they will stop working when they reach the limit, and hence they won't learn anymore. So it's not a bad idea to just keep them producing without limits, because you are moving. You know, we're not going to stay here forever. We are going to do a scavenge run as soon as we enter the Neolithic timeline and get farms. Then we are just going to whoosh, like grasshoppers. So we are going to go from place to place and empty out all the resources we want and move on until we have tons to start with to get a really bang start on our Neolithic adventure. Yeah, so keep in mind, you don't have to do this. You know, you don't have to do it the way I do it. You can do it however you see fit, but this is how I do it. And then maybe I can spark an idea in you to change your own methodology to do better or to do it differently. All up to you. No one-way street here in this game. And there's no way you will ever get two tribes that are ever the same. I mean, I think I've started more tribes than I've drawn breath my entire life. So, yeah, I'm not exaggerating at all, am I? So, just trying to tell you that no two tribes are going to ever be the same. Keep that in mind. Right. So, these guys are going to get twos because they are going to keep working. And these are now our craft material gatherers. So, what you can do to keep a good system is to name them. So these, yeah, what is the crafting? Me and my typing. Yeah, these are crafting mats. And what are these? These are sticks. They are supposed to be sticks only, but I'm also giving them a few logs. I'm giving her, and then I'm going to go, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to go down to 2, because I'm going to allow a wood choppers group to do their work, and they are going to have a limit of 6. Because we also want to build benches, because let's face it, crafters is a special breed of people. They don't like sitting on their asses on the ground. They want to sit either in a house, on a bench, or a stone, or a log, wherever they can plunk their butts to. They want to sit properly and not plunk down on the ground. Right, let's complete our groups. This one is going to gather straw, and the reason it's going to gather straw because we're going to build a few straw pit huts. Yeah, and we don't need a ton, so we're only going to gather 100. Then we are covering also the repair materials, and then that's only going to get 1, and we need to name it. It's going to be straw. when you enter the Neolithic timeline, straw is more than ever going to be important, because when you want the best housing, you need straw for all maintenance and for for all building as well. And as the livestock starts coming in and breeding in your tribe, you will realize that you have to either get flax farms or a ton of straw to keep them alive. You can have up to 64 of each species. There are several species in testing, and I think we've all seen the sheep, which I'm not supposed to show anyone, but I think I've been showing it for 2 years. It is part of the weaving implementation and cloth making and stuff like that, which is not supposed to be talked about until we are putting it on Patreon. But hey, you know, I'm senile. I forget where I am, and suddenly you have information you shouldn't have. That is a perk of my videos. Lily is senile and don't know the difference between Patreon, Alpha, and Developer and Public. So yeah, but keep in mind what you see in my videos stays in my videos. Yeah, right. So next group is also going to be a gatherer. We are going to make a gathering group for raw stone, and they're also going to do a few of the mud. So we're going to do quite a bit of raw stones, because we want to have fencing everywhere to prepare us for when we get animal rage, because it will come in a month or so, maybe 6 weeks. It will be public, and if you don't have fences, you will have visitors at night, during day, in the morning. You never know. And those pesky rats, they can sneak in everywhere and gnaw through your storages to steal your food. Yeah, they are pesky. Also, we are going to make what I call a free group, which is a straggler group, which is people that has no work. This means you put it on max, and you have the absolute lowest priority. This means that only members that has no other job will join this group. This you can use. This is an idea I got from one of the devs. This you can use to see how many free people you have. How many real idlers do you have? Also remember that you should not add more work spots anywhere except the free group above the amount you actually have in tribe. So there's no point adding 15 spots to this group, because you have only 10 people in the tribe. You need to divide them on your groups. So for now, we do not need more than these 5, and they are covering everything the tribe needs. Now, the free workers, due to that we have a fisherman, and we will soon also have a hunter. As soon as we have more than 1 of the wooden spears, we have 2. We're going to add a hunter group. Just hang tight. But for now, these guys are going to get the food that tribe likes. They like berries, honey, mushrooms. They love red meat. They love pears. We do not have clams because we are way too far from the coast to have it, and we are too north to have pine nuts, because they will only be close to the Mediterranean. Right. You can, if you want to, do the other foods as well. I normally always have the staples, which is hazelnuts and also the rose hips. Rose hips and the hazelnuts have really good amounts of calories. Let's have a look at the hazelnuts. They have 2,500. That means you feed more than 1 adult per day. And these have 1,600, and the meat is 750. You see the mushrooms and the berries are fairly low, and so are also the pears. But you can see that you have plenty of options in this region. Region 2 it is, in Middle Europe, to feed your tribe on high calorie content food. And also remember, when Neolithic timeline comes and you get the option to build dairy stations, you will get cheese, which is incredibly fatty, and people are wild about it. So avoid the hated foods. That is the grains, the roots, and the bone marrows. They hate bone marrows. There is nothing worse than bone marrow. That is 20 unhappiness immediately. But the good thing is, the second they eat something they like, that unhappiness goes away and is replaced by the happiness. So there is hope. Don't lose hope. They are not going to go hating you for 3 days after eating some bone marrow. It will only last 1 day, unless you force them to eat more food they don't like. Right, this is things you have to figure out yourself, because I don't know what kind of food you always will have in your camp based on where you are. Yeah, and what timeline. Because if you start in 10 kbc, you will have very little noms. Very little love food except raw meat. So unless you are struggling with calories and food, don't dry your meats. Let them eat it raw because they give happiness. Yeah. Right. So we are going to then leave those as are. See, at the moment we have 2 people that are free. What we're going to do is we're going to take 1 and give them to the hunters. The hunters are not going to go for the big animals because that will take forever. So what we're going to do is going to give them the smaller animals. That's it. We're going to leave everything else. These are the 3 big animals that they will need days to kill. Although the developers have improved hunting so that they hunt more efficiently, there is no point going for the big ones because you will spend days still because you're running around with a toothpick. Your wooden spear is a toothpick. Keep that in mind. You start with a flipping toothpick, yeah? So go for the smaller prey. And she will come home with the meat and the pelts. And then the other group, this group, can go gather the bones so that the crafters can make bone knives. What is this? Oh, this is... Okay, so this is going to be raw stone. Because later, when we get options to make stuff from the reed, then reed people are going to take over the mud gathering as well. Right, and that is lesson number 1, and that is how you start. This you can start with in both 10 kbc, 7 kbc, 5 kbc, and 2 kbc, whenever you decide to start. It is food first. Get up sleeping spots and your fireplaces. Get your workers, getting them to gather not only food, but also materials. You can use... Don't be afraid to try ahead with a clear tool. Remember that if you regret something you've done, like if I do this, oops, this is the free one. If I do this and, oh no, I didn't want that, you can either click it out or X out what you didn't want. In this case, oh no, we don't want to read. We just want the stones. Yeah. So if you want to stop doing that, if you don't click it out, you can just do this. You press Alt and then recircle again. Circle should be red and then it's gone. Oh, there's one here that didn't want to go. Oh, there it was. It was a bit further away. Right. So next time we're going to start talking about the reports and what does this mean? How do I know what the knowledge tells me, etc., etc. For now, start your tribe. Try to do roughly the way I do it. You can do it differently. Just make it work. Find success. Until next time, have fun and take care.